Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are excited to have you here in this special time and place. Let's just have a moment of wellness. I know many of us have had a full day, and we just want to center ourselves in to be prepared to receive what is on the horizon. Say within yourself, I am fully present and I have boundless energy. I am fully present and I have boundless energy. I am fully present and I have boundless energy. We have a special program planned on tonight. I am Christy Kennedy, and I'm super excited to be guiding you in this experience where we acknowledge, we appreciate, and we become even more aware of the extraordinary individuals that are in this community. But before we get started, I would like to remind each and every one of you to keep yourself muted during the program. Secondly, if you would like to see the presenter on a wide screen here, we just ask that you would click on the Show Active button. That's at the middle, at the top of your participant screen, right in the middle at the top of your participant screen. On behalf of the board and staff of Capital Area Health Start Coalition, I would like to welcome each and every one of you to our virtual Angel Awards celebration. It's party time. Who's ready? So there are so many ways to support Healthy Start and local moms and families with infants. The Healthy Start virtual silent auction is open until this Sunday, and everyone knows what this Sunday is, February 14th, and we have two special Valentine's Day items up for bid. Bidding will close at midnight tonight, say when the clock strikes 12, midnight tonight. You can visit our auction site at healthystart21.com, healthystart21.com. And you can also give by texting keyword 30 years, 30 years, 30 years to 26989. I'll say that again, 26989. Again, welcome into this space and let's have a good time. Let's hear from Deborah.
Hello, my name is Deborah Dowds, and I'm the president for the Capital Area Healthy Start Coalition. I would like to take a minute to personally thank the members of the Healthy Start Board of Directors for not only all the work that they did to make this event a success, but also for their tremendous dedication to the mission of Healthy Start throughout the year. A special thank goes to Dr. Taronda Lee for her leadership in chairing and planning our first virtual Angel Award. I would now like to introduce Chris Sorchik, the Healthy Start Executive Director.
Thank you, Deborah. The work we do at Capital Area Healthy Start would not be possible without the guidance and expertise of our amazing board of directors, our staff, and the funding from our generous donors. I'd like to thank my wonderful team, Danielle Brown, Sandy Glazer, Christine DeFries, Jasmine Thornton, Olivia Alford, Vanessa Wynn, and Faye Gardner. I would also like to thank my communications and public relations team, Jesse Watford, Michael Wynn, and the RB Oppenheim and Associates staff for their hard work and dedication in sharing our program and mission. The work we do for our local moms and babies would not be possible without the support from each and every one of you. Thank you.
Absolutely beautiful. We are here tonight to celebrate this year's awardees for extraordinary service to moms and babies in our communities and Healthy Start's 30th birthday. We would like to thank the sponsors for their generous donations and support. This is how we make massive impact. We're going to start the night off sharing the history of Healthy Start. So relax, sit back, and enjoy this stroll down memory lane.
Hello, I'm Jack Levine, founder of Four Generations Institute, and I'm so pleased to share the story of Florida Healthy Start. It's really the story of a visionary named Lawton Chiles. We called him the grandfather governor. Born in 1930 in Lakeland, Florida, Lawton Chiles went to undergraduate school at the University of Florida and then joined the military and was an artillery officer during the Korean War. Came back home, ran for the state legislature successfully, ran for the state senate successfully, and in 1970 put on his boots and walked the state of Florida as an underdog candidate for the U.S. Senate. Won his first race, won his second race, won his third race, served 3 full terms, 18 years in the term. His grandson, Lawton IV, was born low birth weight, extremely low birth weight, about 1 pound 6 ounces. And while visiting Lawton in the neonatal intensive care unit, he realized there was something about Florida's health and Florida's baby's health that he just never knew. And what he didn't know was how sorry, that was his word, we were at having healthy babies in our state. As a matter of fact, we ranked 4th from the worst in the nation on the health and the mortality of our babies. So he not only visited his own grandson, but he looked around the neonatal unit and realized there was a whole lot of babies who needed help. So he founded the National Commission to Prevent Infant Mortality and brought a whole range of experts in the field of child health and education together just to figure out what could be done about this emergency. He decided not to run for a 4th term in 1988 and took a couple of years off. These were his thinking years. And in 1990, put his boots back on and ran for governor and succeeded, elected governor in November of 1990. One of his first priorities upon taking office was to create something that didn't exist anywhere in the nation, which was a statewide focus on the health of babies called Healthy Start, which was passed unanimously by the Florida legislature in 1991. So in fact, we're going into the year 2021 in the 30th anniversary of Healthy Start. Healthy Start is an innovative program. It's structured through 32 geographically centered coalitions. I call it community-based. And each one is a little different. There's an old expression, when you've seen one Healthy Start coalition, you've seen one Healthy Start coalition, because they really do reflect the uniquenesses of our diverse geography and demography of Florida. Their purpose is pretty simple, but also pretty profound. It's to universally screen pregnant women. And if there are going to be some problems that are predictable, whether they be health problems or emotional problems, there is an array of services that are brought to bear so that pregnancy can be as successful as possible and the baby can be as healthy as possible. In the life of Healthy Start in Florida since 1991, Florida women have given birth to 6.6 million babies. That's a whole lot of babies. And remarkably, in the life of Healthy Start, Florida has one of the greatest achievements, which is a reduction of infant mortality of more than 18% since our founding. Now, we're not the best in the nation, but our progress has been among the best in the nation. And considering our tremendous growth, it really is a mark of tremendous, tremendous achievement. Now, every year, we've got to fight for resources. It's not only public resources, but also private resources, because investment in health is a requirement to save dollars and, of course, save lives. When it comes to kids, it's not whether we pay, it's when. And prevention is, as the saying goes, the best medicine. And there's no better example of that than Healthy Start, because when a child is born healthy and a child is born with the positive environment that they need, chances are they're going to go on and learn better, earn better, and be a successful adult. Now, there's a private story I want to tell, which is really a story of the birth of our second son. Our first son was born very healthy in 1981. In 1985, Joshua was born, full term, but he had ingested meconium, which made his breathing very, very problematic. As a matter of fact, there was some infection in his lungs. He was the fattest little baby, not so little really, in neonatal intensive care for more than a week. It was during that week when he was fighting for survival that my advocacy went from the sidelines right into the field, realizing that it is not only an economic imperative, an advocacy imperative, but it was a family issue. I wanted others to realize that the health of our babies and the stability of our families is so important, not only in a political sense or a policy sense, but in a personal sense. Because when we think about it, the stages of our life, our generations, are so essential to our own emotional well-being. Now, that little baby who survived very, very well, very precocious, I should say, is now a dad himself. So we're into another generation. My wife and I are graced to have a very, very healthy, almost 3-year-old granddaughter. And come this fall, we're going to have another addition to the family. Julianne's going to be a big sister. And by the way, that little 1 pound 6 ounce Lawton Chiles IV not only survived, but he is in his late 30s today and doing very, very well. A great success story. Why do I share this story of Lawton Chiles and his achievement and Florida's achievement? Because it's an ongoing story. It's an everyday story. Every day, Florida women give birth to about 604 babies. That's every day. As a matter of fact, that's 25 every hour, and there are no hours or days off. So on the ongoing struggle to make sure that our babies are born healthy, we have Healthy Start. We're graced to have Healthy Start. It is our way of saying there is a future that we govern. So any way, every way, we could gather the forces together to advocate for the funding and the perpetuation of such a successful program is a dollar well spent and also time well spent. Please join me in celebrating our 30th anniversary of Florida Healthy Start so we can go forward and be proud of the good work and be proud of the future we are governing. Thank you so much.
Wow. Absolutely amazing. Success rises and falls upon the shoulders of leaders. And anyone can see the problem, but clearly you all have created powerful solutions. I would like to introduce former board member Dr. Fran Close, who will introduce our first Angel Award honoree.
Sorry, Dr. Close, are you unmuted?
I just unmuted myself. Good evening, everyone. It's really a pleasure. I'm just super, super duper excited to introduce the honoree, a friend of mine, who I would say is very, very special and very deserving of this prestigious Angel Award. And that is none other than Dr. Andrea King Fryle. Dr. Fryle knew from an early age that her life's journey would involve medicine. When she was a young girl, her father would take her and her older sister on road trips from their home in Castleberry to visit family in Tallahassee as well as Jacksonville. Eventually, her dad would bring her back to Tallahassee to attend Florida State University, where she would earn a Bachelor's of Science degree in biology. And then she would be back on the road for medical school at Howard University, and then to Tulane for her residency. And I would just like to pause right here. She is also having common as she is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, which is also the sorority of a famous Howard alumna, none other than our Vice President Kamala Harris. So I want to let y'all know that she's also within great company with that. And even while she was at Howard, Dr. Fryle was recognized for her community service as well as her leadership. Also, during her internship and residency at Tulane, she received lots of awards in honoring her performance as well as her service and her teaching. Then she came back to Tallahassee. I mean, she loves Tallahassee to come back again. But this time, she came back as the first female physician at North Florida Women's Care. She has settled her medical practice here and began teaching at was the then new Florida State University College of Medicine. She began to advocate for women's health and women's reproductive rights in our area and has served on a number of key roles where she continued to break barriers. Since 2001, Dr. Frau has been a trusted physician and partner at North Florida Women's Care. She is board certified in obstetrics and gynecology, but her expertise and leadership extend way beyond her specialty. In 2016, she accepted the esteemed role of Chief Medical Officer at Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare. Her other roles within TMH have included Medical Staff Chair, Medical Executive Committee Member, Medical Staff Secretary and Treasurer, Credentials Committee Chair, and Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology Chair. She has always been a team member, but she never wanted to seek the spotlight. She has been a role model, an advocate, and a leader in our medical community, locally, state, as well as nationwide. She's a member of the National Medical Association, William Gunn Medical Society, the Capital Medical Society. She has also served as a board member of the Florida Obstetric and Gynecologic Society, as well as a board member of the American Red Cross. She has served as the chair, as well as the legislative vice chair for the American Congress of Obstetrician and Gynecologists in District 12 in Section 1, where she was allowed to go and speak and support the expansion of Medicaid beyond the 6 weeks postpartum for women who are in suppressed and socioeconomic circumstances. Although her last delivery was in 2019, her impact in the lives of women and infants in our community is felt not just through her face-to-face culturally competent care, but she gives to and models to others, but she reaches to address the root causes of those health inequities in our communities, in our state, as well as our country. Again, she doesn't seek the limelight, but she seems to have it shine on her because that's how good she is. She has been one of Tallahassee's 25 women you should know. She has been featured also in our Tallahassee Women's Magazine. She is frequently called upon as a speaker, as well as a collaborator. And most recently, she was a part of the documentary on stories of women in medicine. If you haven't seen it, please see it. It's awesome. Also, she is now working on COVID-19 crisis as a leader and advocate for access to care and vaccinations. On this journey, Dr. Frau has put family first, and it's always at her heart. She is a daddy's girl. She is Mr. King's baby girl. And those of you who know that and know her know that she is the baby girl to Mr. King. She is the wife of Eric Frau and also mother to Camille. They enjoy outdoor activities and like traveling to beaches and tropical destinations. But I would just like a point of privilege to say that she and I have a lot in common. We both come from the best of the 67 counties, that is Seminole County, Florida. She grew up in Castleberry when I grew up in Sanford, Florida. Although I'm a little older than her, I knew of her at her high school and who she was. And we both came to Florida State University as 18-year-olds, and we both have a degree in biological science from FSU. And even before I knew her that well, I knew her sister Audrey, who came to FSU at the same time. And I knew her husband, Eric, before he was her husband. And just to know that, knew her and the people that she's associated with. But I formally met her as Dr. King Frau at a Healthy Start event. She sat next to me at a Healthy Start event that Ann Davis took me to. We were collaborating with the new College of Medicine at Florida State University. And I just loved her personality. And I said, can you be my physician? And she's like, yeah, I think we can do that. So she wrote a number down and I was like, I'll call you. Well, needless to say, I called her a month later because I was expecting. Oh, who would have thought, right? So I did call her and she was just an amazing physician. And being 40, having a baby, and to have the physician that she had who took me by the hand the whole way. And the weekend that my daughter was born, Dr. Frau was off. But when she came, because I was having some complications, she came in and she delivered my Nyla 14 years ago. And so I can say not only is that she's a good physician. I really consider her a friend. I mean, she's just awesome sauce. So hopefully she'll keep my appointment that I have with you next month. You know, and I just want to say you are well deserving of this award. You are just well deserving. And so we are proud here as a Healthy Start family to honor you today and all the things that you have done for our community and you continue to do. So I would like to say, we honor you, our angel, Dr. Andrea King-Ryle.
Well, Dr. Close, I'm not sure how much I can say after that. You kind of made me sound pretty important. And for this small town Seminole County girl, I don't know. That was very, very thoughtful and kind and pretty emotional. But yeah, don't you start, Dr. Close. I do remember that passing you my phone number. Doesn't seem like our kids are growing up that fast, but they grow up that fast. And, you know, as a brand new, excited graduate starting my dream career as an OBGYN here at North Florida Women's Care in Tallahassee, I quickly found out that being in private practice wasn't quite what I thought it was going to be, but that taking care of the women in this community would not only need the support of the physicians and medical providers, but it truly would take a village. It needed everyone in the community to have successful pregnancies. When you're in training, you learn about and you try your best to address the issues of your patients, but residency is transient and you may leave before you can see whether your work has truly helped anyone. Also, services differ in different regions and in different states. Like you mentioned, I was in DC and then I was in New Orleans and then back to Tallahassee and purposefully, very purposefully back to Tallahassee. So residency never quite gives or prepares you for all the non-medical and socioeconomic challenges that you're going to face when you're caring for patients. And I mean truly caring for them, because you want to care for them beyond the exam room. And it is a hopeless feeling sometimes for nurses and physicians and clinicians and everybody in your office that's really trying to help a patient once they get out of that exam room. And that is where my first experiences with Healthy Start began. Back in 2001, trying to coordinate how the hospitals and TMH and the practices could align to make sure every woman was at least screened for Healthy Start. I remember sitting with, most of you might remember Dr. Wah and Dr. Krishnamurthy and Dr. Forstoffel and myself. That was probably most of the women physicians at the time. I'm aging myself. That we ended up putting together literally folders with all of the Healthy Start screening guides in it to make sure every woman could get screened. It was, you know, truly a journey, but with a dedicated community, we began coordinating our efforts. And Healthy Start has always been that great collaborator, great partner to help for women. And so it's really easy to, I really appreciate the work that Healthy Start has done and continues to do for the community. The community collaboration and services Healthy Start provides are vital to addressing and identifying at-risk populations while providing support to women and families regardless of their socioeconomic status. You wouldn't believe how many times we offer the screening to people and they would not want to fill it out feeling that they had money, and then trying to convince people that unfortunately your economic status does not dictate the outcome of your pregnancy. So it became very important to get that messaging across. So you guys we're celebrating 30 years. I'm 20 years into Tallahassee and on this journey with you. So, you know, fast forward 20 years and we're still working hard. We're working together. We're advocating for making healthy women and families a priority, fighting to reduce maternal morbidity and mortality, and of course, reduce preterm births. So I just want to accept this award, but if I'm going to accept the Angel Award, I cannot do so without acknowledging the wings afforded to me by the coalition's never-ending support of women, moms, infants, and families. Thank you so much for your support in this community, and I hope people give generously in bid tonight because we would like to continue to support the services of Healthy Start Coalition Tallahassee. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. In the words of Walt Disney, if you can dream it, you can do it. And we just celebrate your commitment to the compassionate care of those in need. Next, we will have board member Glenn Robertson, who will introduce our next Angel Award honoree.
Well, thank you. I guess I could introduce Jack Levine by going through his lifelong achievements, like getting a master's in child development and family studies from Purdue University, and then moving to Tallahassee in 1978, where somehow he convinced the wonderful Charlotte Hewler to marry him. And they had two great sons, as he mentioned in the video, Aaron and Josh, and they now have two great granddaughters, Julianne and Molly Joy. I guess I could mention that Jack became a very young president of a nonprofit called Voices for Florida's Children, where he excelled in advocacy for decades. And later, he founded the Four Generations Institute that focuses on intergenerational issues. And I guess I could recognize all the honors and awards that Jack has received over the years for highly successful advocacy. But I'm not going to mention any of those. And instead, I'm going to talk a little bit about why does Jack Levine deserve to be an angel? You have lots of awards, Jack, but if there's anything that tops getting your wings, I don't know what it is. I do know, however, that your legion of fans recognize this is a well-deserved honor. Jack and I met 42 years ago when I first came to Tallahassee from Clearwater to direct Governor Bob Graham's Office of Planning and Budgeting. And the very first advocate to welcome me to town was Jack Levine. That says a lot. I quickly learned that he's a true baseball fan like myself and a truly passionate advocate for children. And ever since, we have collaborated many, many times on both of those pursuits. There can be absolutely no one else in Florida over the past 43 years who has so successfully engaged in thinking, writing, talking, organizing, and networking on behalf of our state's kids and their families more than Jack Levine. He's incredible. He never stops. He's the Energizer Bunny of advocacy. While that alone likely qualifies him for his wings, there's much more to Jack Levine. He possesses a second angel characteristic, truthfulness and credibility. Anyone who wants to really understand children and family issues contacts Jack. He has been and still is the go-to guy in Florida for print, radio, and TV media, for legislators regardless of party, for governors, and for a variety of social service organizations. He can simply explain complex issues and offer solutions that are well-reasoned and make a lot of sense. And for the media, he's a quote machine. When Jack and E.F. Hutton speak, people listen. And the bipartisan trust that Jack has is exceptional. This makes getting agreements to pass budgets and policy in support of Florida's children so much easier, as anybody who engages in that process knows. A third angel characteristic that Jack possesses is friendliness and generosity. Anyone who knows Jack is aware that he has a network that makes Verizon envious. 6 degrees of separation never applied to Jack Levine. For him, it's more like 2 degrees of separation. Wherever Jack goes, whether it's giving speeches all over the state of Florida and the nation, going to a baseball game, in an airport, walking around the Capitol, wherever, Jack will make friends. He will get their emails and he will stay in touch. He tirelessly works to help individuals and groups understand the power of skilled advocacy in building coalitions of interests to pursue community support, critical budget issues, and pass needed policies into law. His assistance to our state association of 32 Healthy Start coalitions has been invaluable. Jack is certainly an angel in this life and very likely the next. And with that, I am proud to present the 2021 Capital Area Healthy Start Coalition's Angel Award to my great friend, Jack Levine. Jack, you've more than earned your wings.
Well, Glenn Robertson,
Congratulations.
how can I say thank you more than to have your friendship, have your family's friendship, and your wonderful, wonderful, assiduous advocacy. I must say, Dr. Fryle, I am impressed. I must admit that I haven't met you personally, but now we have met. And trust me, like Glenn says, we will keep in touch.
Absolutely.
Yes, there's something about Healthy Start that becomes a very, very emotional connection. There are many programs, many policies, many budget lines. But as has been reported recently, especially in this era of COVID-19, there are special needs for customization of our medical services. And through the stages of pregnancy, and obviously for the newborn era, we have to be adaptable and we have to be supported to meet the challenges and succeed. And how we measure success is in healthy babies. I could give you more statistics. There were some on the video. I can tell you that in our capital area of 2 counties, Leon and Wakulla, we have 62 births a week or 9 a day. But our children are not statistics. Our children are arms that hug or desperately need to be hugged. Our children are legs that run, sometimes with a brace or even a prosthetic. Our children are voices that sing, sometimes in sign language. But most important, our children are sets of eyes which will look at pictures of us when we're gone and judge us about the quality of life we've left. In my mind's eye, in my advocate's heart, knowing Lawton Chiles as I did, he saw legacy as his top priority. We did lose him even before the end of his second term. But what Lawton Chiles brought to this state and really brought to this nation was a grandfather's advocacy, a grandfather's commitment, a grandfather's hope that not only would his child, his grandchild survive, but so many others around the state. So we are going to pay tribute in this 30th anniversary year to Lawton Chiles, his wonderful wife, Rhea, and the whole Chiles family for their commitment. It was said in the video, there was never a single vote against Healthy Start in its tenure of 30 years. That is significant. There are no Republican babies. There are no Democrat babies. They are just babies who deserve, need, and our respect, and with our respect, have the leadership that's needed. I saw that our Senator Loran Osley is on this call, and thank you, Loran, for your leadership. I know your colleague, Allison Tant in the House, is also a tremendous child advocate. I'm picking out 2 names because you are my state senator, and she is my House member. But of the 120 members of the House and the 40 members of the Senate, we need to amass a unified chorus of support for Healthy Start, not only this year, but as the decades pass. So let me end this thank you by thanking, of course, Chris and Deborah and the entire Capital Area Healthy Start team by sharing with you what I call my 5 L's. The first L is life, and we're here to celebrate life, the life we've been given and the life that we try to enhance for others. Then there's love, the love we feel for our families, the love we feel for our neighbors, the love we feel for those who are first responders who are doing so much in our community to improve our quality of life. Then there's learning. We are a learning creature. We learn to understand, we learn to love, and we learn to use the tools that we have to improve the lives of others. Then there's leadership. We spoke a lot about Lawton Child's leadership, but leadership does not take a senator or a governor. Leadership can be a leadership in our own homes, in our own neighborhoods, in our own workplaces. Leadership is about having people emulate the strength that somebody brings, the experience they bring, and the vision they bring to others. And then the 5th L, it's one I've mentioned a few times already, which is legacy. Legacy is about what we will be remembered. And knowing the Healthy Start coalitions as I do, knowing the diversity, but also the determination that Healthy Start brings to the well-being of our pregnant women, our families, and of course, our babies, is truly, truly a legacy worth celebrating and a legacy worth perpetuating. So Glenn, you are my friend, and thank you very much. I feel the closeness to this Healthy Start Coalition, my hometown Healthy Start Coalition, and know that together we will continue to work wonders. I bless you all, I thank you all, and together we will succeed. Thank you very much.
Together we will succeed. So much inspiration behind those words and what we've heard thus far. And sometimes we kind of just rush through life, but I just really want us to soak in what we just experienced, this whole vision, 30-year journey, and we have many more years to go. Ask this question: if you were to expand your heart, how much wider could it become to give someone else a healthy start? And here are the opportunities, because we need you. We need your generosity. We want to say thank you. We are now going to have one of our moms that has been impacted by this mission, and that is Heather Mayfield. She's going to share her story about the difference Healthy Start has made in her life. Welcome, Heather.
Thank you. You can only prepare yourself so much for the mental and physical grief you experience from the loss of a child. The pain is true heartbreak that we live with every day. Not a day goes by that I don't think about the day I gave birth to my son or the future that could have been. My pregnancy was discovered at almost 2 months while working response efforts for Hurricane Michael. Living with pre-existing mental health issues and working in a high-stress environment, I noticed my emotions and body was totally off from normal. I quickly called my doctor to be seen immediately. My appointment went well. I was prescribed new medications for depression and anxiety and sent on my way. 5 minutes after leaving my appointment, my doctor calls and requests that I return because of an issue with one of my prescriptions. I returned to the office and was immediately escorted to a room. The doctor came in, sat right next to me, and asked to have my prescriptions back. As soon as she received them, she looked me in my eyes with uncertainty or fear and said, "You cannot have these because you're pregnant." Not expecting to be told this at all, tears of shock ran down my face. I was in total disbelief, not because I didn't want a child, but because for so long I was never able to conceive. My emotions were indescribable. I was so happy, but immediately afraid of losing something I always desired but never had. I was secretly excited for my first obstetrician appointment. I felt better knowing I wasn't having a mental breakdown, and it was all because of a tiny human that I loved more than myself. My appointment went great. Strong, healthy heartbeat, and everything appeared to be doing well. I was relieved. 2 weeks went by, and I noticed some light spotting. This is normal, so I disregarded any concern. A few days later, I noticed more blood than usual. I went to the hospital and was sent home after no issues were found. 2 days later, I woke up to get ready for work, and I felt something running down my leg. As soon as I looked down, blood covered the entire floor. I was hysterical. I knew I'd lost my baby from all the blood loss. I immediately called my partner and we went to the hospital. I had no pain, but I was pouring blood like I had been stabbed. I was quickly taken back to have an ultrasound that revealed my baby was doing well, strong, thriving heartbeat, and was bouncing happily. I was relieved, but I knew this was not normal. My heart and mind were heavy with worry and uncertainty as I was sent home to follow up with my obstetrician. My follow-up appointment was less than exciting. I feared and dread learning what was going on with my pregnancy. I was diagnosed with a subchorionic hemorrhage. Bleeding occurs when the placenta detaches from the original site of implantation. It affects the chorionic membranes. These lift apart and form another sac between the placenta and the uterus. Research has found that a subchorionic hematoma can increase the risk of an array of pregnancy complications, including miscarriage, preterm labor, placenta abruption, and premature rupture of membranes. I was told that my pregnancy had a 50% chance of making it to full term and was put on bed rest. During the next 2 months, I visited the hospital 5 times for excessive bleeding and was also hospitalized for 7 days. The doctors were amazed that I was still pregnant. My baby was healthy and a fighter. I had made it to my 2nd trimester, and I was determined to keep my pregnancy. I was living on hope. Early one morning, 3 weeks later, I woke up at 1 a.m. thinking I was experiencing gas pains. But as time progressed, the pain turned into agony. I decided it was time to go to the hospital because I felt I was in labor. I wasn't experiencing any bleeding at this point, but the pain was unbearable. I was given pain medication that did not help. The emergency ultrasound showed my baby was just fine, but I was not. I started to heavily bleed and was admitted to labor and delivery. In denial, why am I in labor and in delivery if my baby is doing well? I was having constant unbearable labor pain, and then at this point, my doctor was not able to assist with stopping the contractions. I endured 11 hours of preterm labor and contractions, and at 12 p.m. on January 19th, 2019, I gave birth to my son, Grayson Prince Randolph. My purpose in life immediately vanished as I held my son. I couldn't help but apologize to him over and over because he was alive and healthy until he was born. My body was the issue and not him. So tiny and perfect, I was able to spend 24 hours with Grayson before it was time to tell my sweet love until next time. A million tears I have cried, and a million times I have asked why. Nothing wrong and so perfectly made. Why did God choose to take you that day? There is no reason or explanation, but my darling angel baby is in my presence, and I feel him. God lets me know he needed him home. Grayson's due date was a day that never came, along with the future plans or dreams I wanted for him. I should have received the most wonderful blessing from God, but instead I am left with a tragic memory of the day he left. To grieve, you have loved. No bond is equal to the love a mother has for her child, and the love I have for Grayson is greater than any other. The loss of Grayson put me in a deep, dark physical and mental depression. I took a 3-month leave of absence from work and shut myself out from the world. My relationship fell apart and lost friends, but gained a new aspect on life. I learned what is truly important. I cannot give enough praise to Capital Area Healthy Start Coalition for providing Miss Kira as my bereavement counselor to assist with my grief and postpartum depression. Kira was dedicated to helping me with my progress, and I am very thankful she entered my life. For a year, I received services frequently to cope and adjust to my new life. I felt comfortable and cared for. I saw the dedication that was being put in to improve my health, and that was a blessing. The day I lost my son was the end of my past life and the beginning of a new one. Grayson may not physically be alive, but he is alive and well. God gave him his purpose, and that was to help me. Grayson has guided me and held my hand through the most difficult time of my life. He is my light through the darkness, and I am forever grateful to be existing to live again with purpose. Healthy Start has helped me come a long way, and I have much further to go. Not a day goes by that I don't think of my angel baby. For his heart only beat under mine, he will forever be missed. Mommy loves you, Grayson Prince Randolph. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather, for sharing your story. Wow. I don't know how there's a dry eye in the virtual award ceremony. Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Healthy Start. And this is why we need your donations, your support. And so we celebrate tremendous impact by soldiers of service that are on the front line doing this work day in and day out. We thank you for joining us tonight. Just want to give you a few reminders that you can support our families by donating. Our silent auction, visit healthystart21.com. Make sure you check out the beautiful artwork. And there's a 2-person inflatable kayak up for auction. The auction will remain open until Sunday, February 14th. And as a reminder, the bidding on those 2 Valentine's items closes midnight when the clock strikes 12. The winners of those items will be contacted on Monday, February 15th to arrange time to pick up your items. Remember, you can text to give. Text 30 years to 26989. Remember, every dollar counts, and those dollars you invest are helping real people with real problems, real need of support, supporting our moms and our families with infants. Thank you for joining us on tonight to support Healthy Start, and we hope you have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
On behalf of the board and staff of Capital Area Healthy Start Coalition, Thank you for attending our Angel Awards celebration. Congratulations to our awardees. Thank you for your continued work and support. Thank you for the support of our local moms and babies. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Stay safe and be well. Good night.